We're starting another house that's new construction. She got in this right before winter, and someone came in and did some quick landscaping, probably pretty much enough to make the bank satisfied. This is what she gets this spring. It's just a weeded up mess. The front lawn we're going to be redoing. We're going to be redoing these front gardens, all new bark mulch. We're going to get rid of some of the boulders. Grass back here she's not too concerned about, but I'm probably going to overseed it. This looked better in the spring when I first gave her a price on this job than it does now, so we'll see what happens. But all these rocks that were shoved in the wood line, just like the last one I did, all that stuff I can grab with my machine. We're going to go out back. It's another thing everybody's doing, just stump grindings and wood chips. These people are building these homes just to sell. They're doing such a minimal thing, leaving people like this is the backyard. And this is probably a $600,000 to $750,000 house right now in Wakefield where I live. And this is what you get left, just a weeded up mess. I don't even believe that unit's sitting level. So I got to address all that. I'm gonna dig out around this generator. That's all gonna be stone. Kind of cool. It's a military. I don't know if it's showing the camera, but military jet going over. Back here, they weren't supposed to cut as many trees as they did, and she's kind of aggravated. The window she looks out all the time. She's looking right into the neighbor's backyard. So we're gonna do a raised garden. But when I say raised, it's like we're gonna probably put 4 or 5 feet of a raised bed here and plant some Christmas trees and a mixture of shrubs. It all has to be deer resistant. The deer here are crazy. When I was here giving the price on this, there was a deer right across the street. So it's like that they don't get bothered too much. They're not nervous about coming in your yard. Right here, I've been bringing Phil in this morning. Right here is where all those boulders are gonna go. We're going to stick them on this outside edge so that this hill isn't like this. She wants to get this fall. We're probably going to revisit this yard and do the backyard. Right now she just wants to get the front kept care of, other than she wants to get the trees started. And I got the trees. I wanted to make sure I could get some of the greenhouses. This part of New Hampshire, they didn't really gear up to do a lot this year, so I'm having a little bit of a difficult time getting some of the trees and shrubs. But we're going to basically fill this in so that it's more level when she gets ready to do it with a ride lawnmower. She doesn't feel like she's tipping over. Over here, we're taking this corner garden. We're just gonna do a angle from the edge of the hut top there to the edge of the hut top over here. Bark mulch it. No other plantings are going in. I'm gonna replace that one dead tree with something. She's got a couple rhododendrons I think I gotta put in this front corner. But it's just a weeded up mess. We're gonna try to scrape off what's there. There's so much crabgrass in it. I just assume scrape the top of that off and haul it off and start over again. It's too bad. I mean, she had a landscaper come and do this, and it looks like what he did all right work. Other than there's a pretty good weed issue. I don't think it was ever treated. The walkway is decent. So like I said, we're gonna new grass. Over here is just gonna be all bark mulch. That's gonna be a garden right out to the driveway. So the only grass is going to be the front and side yard to the left side of the house. Over here, we're leaving this for right now, other than this corner garden. I just thought I'd do an opening video. It'll look quite a bit better when I'm done. But what they filled this lot with too is almost like a beach sand. Once you start sinking, it's like quicksand, and there ain't hardly a rock in it. So, and the stuff I'm hauling in is just stuff that comes off my screener. Right now it's 95 degrees and it's like 78% humidity, so it's nasty. That's why I'm trucking today. I also want to show, I just said today it was like in the 90s, high humidity. I'm not an air conditioned guy. I don't run the reason the windows are closed right now is because when you're back in here, it's just a dust storm. Where I'm loading off my screener is dusty too, so but it's nasty. Like you just walking around that yard just now to do this quick thing with the camera, it's gross. It's just been crazy this year, and I don't know if I'm getting old or what, but I just don't deal with it as well anymore. But today I got trucking to go to bring here, and I got trucking to go do another job site. That's what I'm going to do today. I don't even really like running my equipment when it's like this, my excavator and stuff. Most of my equipment I keep for a long time, but if I traded it in every 4 years, I might look at it different. But stuff that I'm keeping and care about, I don't like running when the weather's in the 90s, high humidity. I'm not an air conditioning guy neither, to be honest with you. I don't like sitting in air conditioning and getting out in this heat. It just kills you. I also want to explain in this video too, I just thought of it, a little bit of an addition to this story. This woman had that landscaper go in last fall and do some stuff. I don't know, I got a funny feeling he was paid enough to come back and do some more this spring, and I don't think he's showing up, basically is what it is. I said in my past videos, I don't like working for people that are in a sense bad-mouthing the last landscaper or contractor that was there. But in this part of New Hampshire, because of the boom that's been going on, especially around the lakefront up here, a lot of shoddy work's getting done. There's no other way of saying it. But like I said, I think she's nervous of me because it's the first time I've worked for her. You can ask around. I've been up here 26 years. You can ask around in this town. I think that's what she did, and that's how she came. I worked up the road from her, and I thought that's how she got my stuff. But she said, no, I actually looked you up and asked a few people in town who was honest, and that's how I think that's how she got my name and number. I still think she's nervous of me because she's like, well, I'd like to do something in the backyard this fall, but I think she wants to see what I'm going to do to the front yard. And I went there today to start this job, and I said, listen, I'm probably just going to bring Phil in because it's going to be in the 90s, and I just finished up a big job. She was fine with that. But just talking to her this morning, I added that raised bed in the back, which is a substantial job because we're putting some 4 or 5 foot, Christmas trees, breaking it up a little bit. She wants to try to create a privacy screen basically between her and a neighbor, and doesn't want it to take 15 years to fill in. And I'm going to use a couple trees that grow quite a few inches every year, and I'll design it to where it's going to create a fence in a sense. Some people don't like the idea of having a big mound of dirt there, but once you bark mulch it, it'll look good. And like I told her in the fall, if she wants to extend it, we can roll it out so that the high point will just, you can bleed it out on both ends so that it doesn't look as bad. The reality is, I want to say that in this video, there's so many people, and I'm running into that all the time, that until you work for them, they are very skittish of you because so many people up here are doing shoddy work. And sometimes shoddy work gets taken wrong too, because like sometimes you're working within someone's budget. I had that discussion this morning when I grabbed my coffee at the corner store. They were in there slamming some other guy's work, and me and one other guy, which is a lot bigger landscape business than me, he's like, hey, you guys, you don't really know what he got paid to do it. That might be an awesome job for what he got paid. And they're like, yeah, maybe. But I mean, I'm at that point, I don't really care. I do what the customer wants. Sometimes it's something I wouldn't normally do, but if you're there doing a major job for them and they say, hey, can you do this? This is what our budget is, or we're running out of money. And I hate to say that, I'm in a business. The landscape guy is the last one to go in on new construction. That's when they're normally running out of money, and that's the reality. It will come down to the end of it. Well, we'd like to go further, but this is all we got to spend. And I try to work within that. But I just wanted to explain that in this video, so I figured I'd put the camera back on. All right, I'm gonna get to it. I was here this morning for a little bit and then forgot the camera, but she's changed up a couple things when I come the other day. Told her I was starting. We're gonna add a little bit of a retaining wall in the backyard. This whole development that I'm in's got rocks everywhere. There was ledge everywhere. They broke. They did this development like 20 years ago. It never took off, and then now it's starting to take off. I think there's only one more lot in here that's for sale. We're getting some of these rocks. I figured I'd put the camera on. It's far enough away so I don't want to keep tracking that excavator back and forth unless they're real big rocks. Anything like this, I'm just going to throw in the bucket 3 or 4 out of whack and do it that way. Those 2 are big enough, so we'll just haul those by themselves. Starting to rain a little bit, but not bad. We need it, we'll get the dust down. The good thing about this lot is there's a little bit of a staging area that I can use so I can bring stuff in. show in front of me here. There's rocks they just threw out in the wood line. You run into this a lot of places. The contractors don't want to deal with them. And they just get, you can tell these ain't been here long. That hut top got put in, they dipped it to the back so the water would run off, but this back corner, she does want to have a lawn back there that she doesn't feel like she's going to tip over if she gets a riding lawnmower. I don't know if we'll be doing the lawn until fall. And she said, what's just, you know, we came up with a budget she wanted to spend to do this little corner. And I said, I'll just grab the boulders that are all around your property, stick them in this corner and do something simple. And we both agreed to that, so here we are. I'll go grab the excavator. All we're doing is just this corner of the house, that land doesn't tip off. This is just kind of a quick thing. Not a big budget for this, so if you're questioning the way I do it, there's a reason. In New Hampshire, there's a bunch of walls that get put together like this just to retain a corner of a yard. One thing about this lot, I'm not going to have a hard time finding boulders. Other than that, this would be, if I was bringing these rocks in, this would be a pretty expensive venture for somebody. I'm going to roll these ends out. I'm just going to do it with dirt. The rock wall's only going to go to a certain point, so. I'm going to say again too, the builders, the way they're leaving these places now, it's aggravating. Like they built up around a bulkhead and that deck, and then the fuel tanks. Eastern Propane put 3 tanks in on this corner, which if you grade the yard, now them tanks are probably 14 inches too low. So I gotta mention that to her too. She might have to have those reset is what I'm guessing. Grab a few more out of the wood, but the smaller ones I just throw in the bucket of the loader, but these bigger ones I just turn around and throw them. She didn't really care for this stuff in the corner, so I'm going to steal some of those. Better be careful about going over that hot top and having one fall off. People are always amazed when they watch my videos what this machine will lift and walk around with. You can pick up something 4 times that size and put it on the blade, between the blade and the bucket, and balance it. Pretty much go where you want to go with it. Keep the round rock in the garden for the most part. Get out of the way for a minute and grab the loader. Showing we're going to be putting some stone around this generator in that air conditioning unit. Neither one of them is sitting level. I know that air conditioning unit, it's a pretty big deal that sits level. I don't know if I'm going to get involved with it. I think I'm just going to tell her, have the company come back. once we get the elevation right over near the propane tanks, them got to come up a good 10 to 12 inches. I don't really want to get involved with it, but I can tell by looking at what I'm digging up. The grass here didn't do real good for her, but it was crappy loam. I'm going to make that disappear in the bottom of that big raised hill I'm doing. Take the camera and show you this weed that's out here. I ran into it years ago when I was four-wheeling, but I figured I'd show that up close. You can't grab that with your hands, and they'll stab into you like, oh my god. It's got those needles in it. They are nasty if you grabbed hold of that, and it flowers at the end, so people think they're kind of cool, but you hear hunters talk about it once in a while because they try to walk through it and realize it was a mistake when it's too late. But I just thought I'd take a shot of that. That's a big one. I'm gonna walk that right out into the tree line because that is nasty stuff. We're gonna be putting new bark mulch in, so I'm gonna cut a new edge on that before we redo the front lawn anyways, but they got lazy on this corner and just plug planted these, so there's grass all around them. I'm going to take the time. Now my name's going to be on it. I'd just soon cut that out, get rid of all that grass. I'm going to do that next, and then we'll work on doing the stone. I just want to show the way I do it. All them clumps of grass, and then I'll do a straight line of stone back there and a straight line of bark mulch. I just take a flat shovel. This was pretty easy digging, so we did a 45-degree angle down in that will hold the mulch in. From there forward will be new grass. But I just wanted to get that cut out today. I'm going to try to do the stone around all that other stuff. She asked me to find the septic cover. I found that. I'm going to put a measurement on I'm going to bring back a Sharpie after lunch and put a measurement on the end of that house and an arrow where it is. But I just want to show that's the right way of doing it. And I got all the grass out of there completely. The reason them aren't growing good, she was wondering why. Nothing's growing good because they didn't put any loom. Pretty much maybe like a couple shovelfuls to each one of those plants. And then what's funny is down near the road where there's a major weed issue is all loom. I think they dumped a dump truck load of loom down there and then plug planted it. But that's one thing I always do different. I use gravel and then I plug plant. I make the root, even if it's a tree, I just go 3 to 5 times bigger than the root ball with loom, and then all you're worried about normally for weeds is around that plant for a long time. I'm anxious to see how big of a problem it's going to be getting rid of the weed issue here, but I know what I've looked at so far. I'm not happy. But stuff like this, I really think there should have been a border, like a 6x6 or a 4x4 pressure treated beam, or the plastic. Something should have been in there for edging between the stone and the bark mulch, but that's a normal thing you see all the time. It's not a big deal. But I normally try to at least put a deck board in on edge or something, but I'm not getting paid to do that here, so I'm just going to go with what someone else had started. But I just want to show people how I go about edging and all that stuff. We're dragging some of the weeds out of here before I start. I'm going to put some weed killer down. I brought some spray. I mix it up in a big 3-gallon pump sprayer. But we got to pull a lot of these weeds. This is all going to be bark mulch, but I want to start with a fresh thing. She wants to remove that tree. She doesn't want to wait for that to come back. The deer have been having a field day with it. But we're going to be pulling that tree. I'm going to try to come up. I think she wants to put an evergreen back in there of some sort, something that will be a bigger centerpiece. But up here, we're just going to be leaving everything but the trees, just what's going to be there. The rest of this is just going to be bark mulch out to this hot top. Over here, we're just going to, instead of having grass go down in like that, that's going to be bark mulch. I'm going to kind of roll a line here. It's not going to be straight, but she wants to try to keep it easy to do with a riding lawnmower. The edge of this septic, we're going to roll down in so it's a little friendlier to mow. Those roadies have been in those buckets, it sounds like, for months, so she wants me to plug those in this corner somewhere. Same thing out front there, it's just what's there. I pulled out some dead stuff. Another landscaper did this for her right before winter hit, and some of the stuff I pulled out of there today that was dead was literally planted in sand. I dug around these other ones and there was a little bit of loom to them, but some of the, I haven't pulled it out, but a lot of stuff died that was in there. Same with the garden over there. She just pulls it out, throws it away because it's completely dead. But they planted some of it right, some of it they didn't. The stuff they didn't is dead. We are going to be redoing the grass in the front of the house. I'm probably going to be, she told me she wasn't worried about this back here, but I'm probably just going to go back to where the generator is. I'm going to try to bring a little loom, put a little better material around those before I bark mulch. What materials here is not good. The loom they brought in is more sand than it is anything. Back here we started shaping. This looks like it's going to be a ridiculously high raised bed, but it's not, because if you look at the grade part of this job, I did that corner over there with just the boulders that were around the property, because that dropped right off. We're not going to be doing back here with loom or anything, or lawn. We are going to plant some trees in this just as a privacy screen here. So we're shaping this. We're just going to bark mulch this in this fall. I'm going to come in and do the rest of the grass back here and whatever else we're going to do, but we're going to try to bring this up to grade better. Pretty much the finished grade's got to be about where the top of that stone is. So I'm going to do this corner, bring it back into where this garden is. So I'm guessing probably 10 good sized 1-ton loads will get the grade up where we need it. So that's probably what we'll be working on tomorrow, but I just wanted to show where we're at today. People look at that and probably think, oh, it still looks like a mess, but I've got well over an hour weeding that. There was the chipmunks and stuff buried so much crap in there, and it grew up so many weeds. It kind of looked like what over there does right now. The crabgrass that's around here, that's another thing I'm going to try to this year has been so bad with weeds. This spring we had so much rain. Put 7 of these in this morning, and then I got to come back and grab some of the smaller stuff. Like every job you go to, oh, what can we do to they want a privacy screen and in their backyard, but then they're like, well, I don't want just trees. So I'm going to work on making up this raised bed. And this fall I think we're going to work off the left and right side of it, but right now we're just going to do this main section, which is going to be the big section. I want to show where we're at. I had to do some running around this morning, so it's like 11 o'clock right now, so the sun's out here. I should have come out and done this morning. But I got that started. Like I said, we're trying to do a privacy thing. I'm going to drop a piece of 15-inch culvert around the bottom of that tree. You'll see that one in my video, to protect that tree, to keep it growing, because that's one of them she wants to save. Rather than bury around it and kill it, you take and drop a piece of culvert, and then you can put bark mulch right around it. I've had good luck with that over the years, but like I said, I mounded them up a little bit. We're going to mix some other stuff into it just to break it up. And then this fall, I think we're going to come back and work the gardens to the left and right here. All we're doing in the backyard right now is this, and we filled in. I brought in another 10 loads of gravel. This is just stuff I make off my screener. I rescreened a bunch of stuff that got hauled in from some other contractor. But she wants to get this level enough so she can do it with a rider without feeling like she's tipping over. All that, this pretty soft soil, what I normally do, I guess I should say that during this video. I dug the root ball. I dug the hole probably 3 times the size of the root ball. There's a good 8 to 12 inches of loom underneath the root ball, so it's going to have enough soft soil to go into. Most of your evergreen stuff, if you look at the crap they grow this in, and it grows, I mean, that's clay. That ain't dirt. I mean, that ain't loom. I'll water these real good today. I probably won't touch them tomorrow. Then I'll water them one more time before the weekend. And then Monday they'll be ready for water again. But you can over water these too. After you water these for the first 2 or 3 weeks, you can normally just leave them alone. They'll be fine. I've had one homeowner probably 10 years ago that put a soaker hose in their garden and actually created a root rot and killed a bunch of their trees. So I really explain to people there's certain things that need to be watered every day, other ones you can actually overwater. Now I've just got to plant a couple small things around it to doll it up a little bit. And like I said, them grow fairly quick. Them will grow 8 to 12 inches a year, I believe. No issues. I put them in real healthy soil, and what's underneath it's soft, so the roots will just bite right in. Just called around. We got a couple more things we got to do in the front yard that she added. I found some trees and shrubs I'm going to go pick up this afternoon. I called him, told him to put my name on them. He sent me some pictures of them. It's getting to that time of year where you want to get a picture of anything you're buying if you don't see it in person. I've told myself over the years, when they're browned at the greenhouse, leave them there. Or even starting to brown. Like I said, I dig them out, put a lot of soft lumen around them, but that will break that up. I ended up using one of the bigger buckets to put around that tree. I used a couple of those buckets, so there's a opening there. I've never had an issue with it doing it. I've buried some trees 3 or 4 feet deep behind rock walls, and you go back and they've grown to the size of 15-inch culvert over 10 years. And like I said, I've never had one die from burying it. If you protect it with any type of thing like that, you just put a sleeve around it. And like I said, that's probably going to grow to a certain point and split anyways, but she didn't want, until these other ones take over, she kind of wanted to leave it there. I thought I'd show where I've got all the weeds out from around those flowers and shrubs over there. I still got to do this one. What we're doing today is we're going to pop this tree in the place of this one. I'm going to do a little bit of a raised, put a good size, like a little hill, put that in it so it's more of a centerpiece and everything falls down from that. But I just thought I'd show what we're doing. I'm doing this before I do the weeding because I want to try to get all the trees in today, get them watered before I leave. And now this is the last plantings I'm doing here. I just want to show what we ended up with there. I just mounded that up, and everything will fall down from that. I believe in the fall or spring we're going to be adding some more to this outside edge, but she wants to keep it somewhat decent for whoever's plowing it. But like I said, that will add to this garden. She asked me my opinion as a landscaper, and I said you can't just have a big flat garden. It has to have a rolling shape. I'm even going to suggest rolling it up in the tree line back there and planting some other stuff. But like I said, we're going to weed this real good and rebark mulch it. I got here late today, but I got it done. That's just the start of, like I said, a privacy screen type thing for the neighbor, for this woman, not to look right over and see the neighbor. These will grow. I told her 3 to 5 summers, and that will look like it's been there for a long time. I've had real good luck with these, but I'm going to suggest doing a quick cleanup and clean up some of the trees that are probably hurting the other ones from growing and filling in low. But I just thought I'd show where we're at this one. So that's all I'm doing back here. It was starting this raised bed, putting this amount of plants in is what I was paid for, and then she decided to have me continue filling the yard out front here. This garden here, I just use it as a staging area to dump a pile, but I'm just going to square this up to the hut top, to that edge of the hut top. All that's going to be is just bark mulch. I'm not doing, other than weeding that, I'm doing nothing. Over here I did all the weeding. Pretty much where you see I cut out, it's going to be all bark mulch. I'm putting another coat of bark mulch on everything, good and thick. I'm going to treat it with a weed control. And this grass, we're just going to, from that green pipe to the edge of the house, we're kind of rejuvenating up here. That was the price I gave her. All I'm putting new loom on is from here out. And I'm going to actually come with my plug aerator, and I'm just going to, like, really, I don't want to say rototill it, but I'm going to go over it about 10 times. Probably take the York rake, clean it up, then I'm going to come in with a few inches of good loam. We're going to fertilize it, seed it. This grew into something bigger like they all do, but I can only let it go so far, and it'll start disrupting my schedule. All right, we'll get back to it. I just figured to show where we're at the end of this day. I just want to take a shot. We're getting wrapped up with the gardens. That's all done. We're going to start on this one now. I did the ones around the house. First thing this morning. Starting to get warm. It's supposed to be a little bit overcast today, so I'm going to try to take advantage of it. Probably going to come back and do the lawn Monday. I might come back today and aerate it and get everything spread out. But like I said, back here, this is pretty much what we're doing. That's all done until we decide to do the next step. Yeah, I'm going to do this little area because I dug it up to find out where the septic tank cover was for. This whole front lawn is pretty much, I don't want to say going to get tilled up, but I'm going to aerate it, and then I'm going to York rake it and then put some good material over the top of it. But for right now, we're going to get back on this. Today's Friday. It's about 2 o'clock, I believe. We got the bark mulch spread on all 3 gardens. This here is what I said I was going to be doing, just square it up to the back of the hot top. Like I said, we're coming back, I believe, this fall and putting the grass in out back. But that loom pile over there is going to be for the lawn Monday. But I'm going to come in, we're going to aerate the crap out of this, probably go over it 6 or 7 times. I'm going to York rake it a little bit to get the plugs off. Probably put 3 or 4 inches of good loom on it. And I'm going to seed it, rake the seed in, seed it one more time, and then the straw I use is also a straw with tactifier, and it also has seed in it. I've had real good luck with it. I'm going to actually come in Monday, and the first thing I'm going to do is mow it real low. Alright, and like I said, we got the gardens up near the house done, cleaned them up a little bit. I got to still weed the rock behind a couple things I just noticed. I slipped earlier. But the heat's getting to me today. I've got this stuff spread out a little bit with the tractor and raking it out, but I fertilized underneath this, aerated it real good to let it get down in. Originally I was going to tear this all out, but there is a lot of loom here. It's just real sandy, and I don't think it was ever fertilized, so I fertilized it. I'm doing this. I'm going to fertilize it with a starter fertilizer, seed it, and then I'm going to go over it with a straw with seed in it and tactifier, and I believe this will come in to be a pretty good lawn. Get that going again, rejuvenate it, and I think she'll have pretty good luck with it. Right now we're in a heck of a drought, which ain't helping anybody. So we're finishing up here. I did the front lawn. I put about 8 yards of loom. I aerated it twice, 2 different directions, dethatched it, and I mowed it again. I mowed it first, but I mowed it again. Put about 8 yards of good loom over the top of it. Fertilized it before I put the new loom down, and then after. Then I seeded it. Then I used a straw with tactifier and seed in it and watered the crap out of it. And she's going to water it every day. I'd say 7 days, that will be a nice looking lawn. There was more loom there than I thought. It was just real sandy, so I fertilized it real good. And what I put in was like more of a garden soil.